Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW Atlantic City Studios here in Mountie from New Jersey. I am Matt Sassuti. This is Brian, the Darkwing Daily. And behind the board is the one and only Mr. Ryan Brodo, who is questioning his life and his decisions, and especially the Sixers at this time, as the draft for the NBA is currently going on.
Little grunt, though.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I think it's best to steer clear of this.
Yeah.
See,
How about them Flyers, huh?
well, speaking of drafts, the NHL draft is literally tomorrow evening, and the Flyers have not one, but 2 picks in the first round. So the real question is what are the Flyers going to do with those picks? Hextall has said it that he is pretty much going to be using his picks. He isn't planning on trading them. It sounds like a Hexy thing to do. He's not the kind of guy to throw picks around unless it's an absolutely necessary trade for the Philadelphia Flyers and the way they're setting up. But before we get into all of that, just letting everybody know that the Hockey Happy Hour is sponsored by Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com.
What's up, Matty?
What's up, Brian?
Yeah, you know. Just living life.
Just living the life, right? I got to ask you, are you overly excited for the Anaheim Ducks and their pick coming into this year's draft for you?
I mean, not particularly. Draft class is kind of weak this year. So I'm just kind of hoping they make a move to free up some cap space. That's kind of like my goal for this draft.
Do you see them getting rid of their pick?
No, not maybe necessarily getting rid of their pick. Maybe adding a pick or a couple late-round picks for some cap relief. But other than that, no, I don't really see him doing much.
Thrilling.
Yeah.
All right, then. On to potential Flyers draft picks going into this year's draft. And we get started off with here of what are the Flyers looking at for this year's draft? And the Twitter poll question is, what will the Flyers be looking at towards this year's draft? Is it going to be offense, defense, special teams, goaltending? I don't think goaltending, because goaltending kind of got filled up pretty quickly with.
Well, that I agree with.
Yeah, that got heavily filled up by Hextall, which thank God that someone decided to put some goaltending into the system. When it comes to the other choices, though, I would think special teams are desperate need. I don't think, though, you necessarily draft for it, but
no, you look for special teams in free agency, and there's a few guys out there that are really good special team players that the Flyers should consider looking at.
Yeah. Now, as for what the Flyers are going to be picking for, offense or defense, it's actually a little hard to say because the Flyers did stock up some offensive talent underneath, guys like, Morgan Frost, Pascal LaBerge, and such like that. Mike Vecchione, who will most likely be on the Flyers next year. It's a hard choice for really the Flyers right now when it comes to what position they exactly want to highlight. Defense is another thing. You can always go and say we can always get more defensemen, but we kind of already have a lot of defensemen sitting down there. So it's kind of a hard choice right now for the Flyers going into this year's draft when it comes to looking at it. Offense, though, I could make a case for because of secondary.
Well, here's the thing. I think the Flyers are in a really good spot right now, and I think this is a problem you kind of want to have.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And it's the reason why they have one of the top AHL farm teams. It's because they have so much talent down there already. As far as the poll question goes, I would say go after offense. Go after and try and see if you can get a pure goal scorer. Because that's something the Flyers need. That's something the Flyers haven't had for a little while. And you potentially have some down there. Wade Allison is supposedly a pure scorer. Pascal LaBerge could be a good special teams guy who could score. Morgan Frost is a pure goal scorer. You gotta figure out what you have first and then go from there. I think goal scoring is a desperate need. You can never have too much.
That is true. Now, here's an interesting idea, too, is that I know Hexie isn't a big fan of trading draft picks. He would rather pick them. My real question is do you see the Flyers maybe trying to package any kind of deal that they can to try and move up in this year's draft class to get a little higher? The last time they did that, they got Travis Konechny out of it, and I believe he was 20th, if I stood correct, in that year's draft. I think he was like 16th or 17th. Flyers were picking at 20th that year originally. So, do you see the Flyers moving up in the draft at all? Do you see them thinking, you know what, we will give you so-and-so in exchange for your pick in this year's first round, plus we'll give you one of our first-round picks?
I don't think so. Everything that I'm hearing and reading is Hextall's going to sit pat, and he's going to be okay with having, 14 and 19, 14 and 18 or something like that. 2 middle-of-the-road picks. He can get really good depth players in that part of the round. And I don't necessarily think Hexie's going to make a move. At least not a big one anyway.
All right, then. So with that being said, do you think that after – now, here's another thing that's not necessarily draft-related. Do you think that he trades Wayne Simmons after the draft?
If Wayne Simmons gets traded, I think it's going to be during the draft because he's going to have that extra punch there. What they're going to trade him for, I'm not necessarily sure.
It may be
later draft picks.
It may be a package deal, too, for maybe second or third round picks on top of it.
If he doesn't get traded at the draft, though, I don't think he's going anywhere.
All right. So we'll get into that a little bit later on in the show. But let's start talking about the Flyers draft pick options because they have a lot of options ahead of them. In particular, the first candidates that I'll be bringing up, guys like, say, Barrett Hayton. Why do I bring that name up? Who's not necessarily a major name, but there's one major reason why I say a Barrett Hayton. One is that he does play with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. It's not, though, that he plays for him. It's who he plays with, Morgan Frost. He plays with him on a line. And he helped Barrett Hayton actually netch in a pretty nice offensive year, which is not necessarily his forte. But if he already has good chemistry with Frost, something that you don't usually get when you just draft players and you throw them onto a team, they have to build it up. They may be able to have something there immediately. I'm not saying Hayton makes team immediately, but in the near future, if Frost is going to make the Flyers this year, he could be a future second-round line with Hayton and Frost working with each other, and whomever the Flyers decide to put with them, which could be a Konechny.
I mean, that could be a great asset. Two guys that are drafted a year apart from each other that have played together, that have that chemistry already formed. That could be beneficial to the Flyers. Where do they have him projected going?
For now, they have Barrett Hayton actually, at least from what I'm seeing here, to the New York Islanders because the Islanders have 2 straight picks in this year's draft.
12 and 13? 11 and 12.
11 and 12. And then the other one they're supposed to get, from what they're saying, is Adam Bachvist. One is a centerman, which is Hayton, and then the other one is a D-man for Bachvist.
I mean, he could easily drop to the Flyers depending on what Lou Lamoriello wants to do with the New York Islanders and if they can get Jonathan Tavares back. So it wouldn't be a bad option for the Flyers. I would like that, actually.
Yeah, and that was the reason why. At first when I heard Barrett Hayton's kind of he's a big kid. He's kind of the guy who likes to throw the body around, but here's the thing. That kind of soured me on him at first when I heard that. But then I heard that he played with Frost, and Frost helped his offensive production. I'm like, ooh, never mind. Actually, now I very much like the idea that this could work out. If that could happen, I'm full on board with them going after Hayton to have him work with Frost in the near future for the Flyers.
Like I said, man, if they already got that chemistry working together, it could be beneficial, and it could actually improve Morgan Frost and his chances of making the roster quicker than expected.
Yep, absolutely. So let's give a quick rundown here of other candidates that the Flyers could possibly go after. Another player that may drop to them is Ty Smith. He is projected to go to Edmonton with the 10th. However, Edmonton is saying they are open to trading their number 10 draft pick, either to move up, which I think is what they're probably trying to do at this time, because Edmonton here's the one thing about Edmonton. It's not necessarily them drafting young. It's more the fact of they really need more veteran presence. I think that's what's killing them at the end of the day. They have a very young team with a lot of young core. They got a lot of great players on that team. I think they still need a little bit more leadership, and they also need that goaltender. That's another thing that they really need to solidify. They need a solid number one goalie, and they need one now.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying that since Cam went over to Edmonton. I was never sold on him being a number one. I'm still not sold on him being a number one.
No, he proved that this year that he cannot carry this team.
Last
again.
year, that 2 years ago, was a flash in the pan with his 42 wins. Edmonton, I think they need to solidify their defense a little bit more too.
That too.
They have the offense; it's there, but
again, I think they want to. I would rather have them go for a veteran D-man, and the reason why I say that is because if you were to get a Ty Smith, who is a young defenseman and he's got a lot of potential, the problem is that he is a bit of a project on that one, and apparently the Lakers just picked their choice for the 25th overall pick. Anyway, with that being said, by the way, has anyone seen the Clippers logo? It looks like shit. I think the LA Clippers should go back to their old logo. It looks stupid. Anyway, that's basketball. Anyway, back to hockey. So, with that being said, though, Ty Smith being a guy you can go for, but the thing is he's young, and he still needs to work. Again, there are a lot of better D-man, too, you could trade up for. Guys like, obviously, Evan Bouchard, Quentin Hughes, Noah Dobson. These are guys who are D-man that are projected to go higher in the draft. I would still say, though, Edmonton, I think they should go for more veteran presence on the defense.
I agree.
I think that would make their defense better, much faster. On top of that, too, if they have any D-men at all that were prospects that were picked in latter rounds like 2 and 3, they could get much, much better training immediately with a veteran-present defenseman.
Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't go after Ty. I'm on board for him to be drafted there. I like what he brings to the table. But for veteran defense, there's going to be quite a few names on the free agent list that they can go after. And despite the fact that Mike Hoffman's already been traded out of Ottawa, Erik Karlsson might still want to be on his way out. He might still want to be gone from Ottawa. So there's options out there.
Yeah, there is options out there. Now, another thing that I will say this, too. If Edmonton does opt to trade their number 10 pick and they go to Karlsson, I would not be surprised if they did that. And the reason why I'm not surprised they would do that is because it makes sense. You want a leading defenseman who can go out there and can do his job and at the same time get a defense that is clearly not there but can be there. It just needs leadership. Erik Karlsson can take a leadership role out there in Edmonton and really start to put that Edmonton defense in the right direction, because that really is what's missing from this team besides goaltending.
Yeah, like I said, offense is already there. You have a ton of good guys, and obviously Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, just to name a couple guys, which are the three big guys. But the offense is there.
Yeah.
You just need to stir up that defense a little bit, and I think Edmonton will be all right. And like I said, there's guys available. You don't have to necessarily draft a guy. Bring a guy in that can be the glue that brings that defense together and solidifies them, and maybe they play a little bit better in front of Cam Talbot this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, Ty Smith, he may drop, he may not. Edmonton is projecting that he would be the number 10 pick. However, that pick is open to be traded. Adam Bachfest is another D-man that could fall to the Flyers. Another player is Joe Velino, who's a centerman, who's looking like he's originally going to go to Dallas. However, Dallas has the pick right before the Flyers do. The only thing that gives me pause about him is not that he's a good player, it's just that he's a centerman. The reason why I say you should just not take him is because the Flyers are looking at possibly projecting to get Joel Farabee, who's a left winger.
That they need wingers desperately in Philly.
I would say go for Joel Farabee only because in a not-so-deep draft, after Rasmus Dahlin, Andrei Shvetnikov, and Jesperi Kotkaniemi, and maybe Philip Zadina and Evan Bouchard, you don't really have too much after that. You have something, you just don't have too much.
No, guys, most of these guys that are coming out, like I said before, this isn't a deep draft class. It's fairly weak. You have maybe 5 guys that are borderline game changers. You have one that is definitely going to be, and he's going to Buffalo.
Yeah, that's definitely the case.
It's just these guys they're going to be role players. They're going to be they're going to be bottom 9 guys. They're not going to be first line guys.
Yeah,
they're going to be second, third line guys. That's pretty much about it.
Yeah, and I really honestly think the choice of picks here for the Flyers is Joel Farabee is not a bad option for it. Barrett Hayton is definitely not a bad option just because of his chemistry with Morgan Frost. I like that very much. Another guy is Bodie Wild, who's another D-man. However, the D-man position, we already have stocked that shelf so high that it's like, I don't know. It just seems not as beneficial for us to keep going for D-man. I think shoring up and getting more offensive prospects I would like to see, because it seems like offensive prospects are what are coming up currently in this year, at least coming out of camp. There may be a D-man possibly, and the only D-man I could see doing that would be Sanheim right now, because Moran's going to be out till February. Because beyond a shadow of a doubt, before Moran got hurt, it was going to be Moran. I think we all could pretty much safely say it was going to be Samuel Moran as a Flyer this year. However, that is now looking like that is not going to happen because of his injury.
I hate to say it because he hasn't gotten a fair shot, but you might might have to move on Sam Moran and move on to the next guy and see who's ready. He's been here since, 2011? True.
And
actually, probably a little later than that. Probably like 2013, 2014, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
He hasn't taken the opportunities he's been given with the Flyers and run with them. Like Sanheim had a fairly solid year. Kevin Haig had a very solid year. Moran didn't really take that bull by the horns when it was given to him after training camp.
Well, I think the other issue too is that Moran, unfortunately, I think he just became a victim of a system change for one thing. On top of that too, Moran, for the most part, has, he's that kind of guy who's a big body, who can be that guy who can definitely play well and play a tough game. That's why I don't really want to give up on him, only because, not to say we need an enforcer, because you don't in the NHL anymore, but you do want a big body in defense who can throw it around when it's necessary,
no, absolutely. A guy that can clear out the front of the net.
Yeah.
Like, you definitely need that, especially nowadays. A lot of players are – that's where a lot of guys sit, especially guys like Wayne Simmons. Like, that's their spot. They get in front of that net, and they just fight it off. And you got a big guy that can come out there and clear the front of the net.
And that's the one thing I really don't want to lose from Sam Moran, because of the problem that, the Flyers have a guy like Sanheim and they have a guy like Gostisbehere and stuff like that. But here's the problem that I see it is that, I just the Sixers, by the way, made their pick, and it's Landry Shamet from Wichita State. I didn't even know Wichita State had a good basketball team. Do they? I don't think they do. I've never heard of them until tonight. So,
well, judging by Ryan's face, it's
I
not
guess
a very good pick.
It's not looking very promising. He's just like, no, I don't want to talk about it. Move on.
All right, so I want to jump over to a couple of these comments here since
Sure.
they're coming in now. So we got Michael Klinkoff, our missing partner in crime.
Yes.
He thinks they should draft bottom 6, offense or defense. A lot of young prospects can come up for them this year. But I'm not going to read the rest of that. He's ready for some free agency, as am I. David Roscoe, what's up, boys? Ready for the draft?
What's up, man?
I'm with you, Dave. Love draft day. Frank Vespi, give me defense. It's 10:04 p.m. and Joe Thornton still sucks. John Malmos, I hope I got your name right, John. I just want to see Carter Hart in orange and black.
Well, Carter Hart, he really wants to get going as a Philadelphia Flyer.
He's ready.
He's ready. And
The mentality's there. He wants a shot in camp, and he thinks he can take the job out of camp.
if he could take the job out of camp, it would be amazing because you know what will happen? And this is going to piss a lot of people off. If he doesn't take the starting job immediately out of camp, you know what's going to happen.
They're going to riot. They're going to burn down the Wells Fargo Center.
There's that, but you know where he's going to start?
AHL.
Yeah,
he's going to start with Phantoms.
He's gonna
and
be,
that's not a
he's
bad
gonna
thing.
be the starter for the Phantoms, only because he can play every day because you don't want him to be back up to Brian Elliott. Now,
Right.
Brian Elliott, on the other hand, I have no problem sitting Elliott's ass on the bench, let him collect his salary, and we put Carter Hart out there. Now,
I got no problem with that either.
I have no issue with that. If that's the case, fine. Let Elliott sit out the rest of his year on there. Let him have some games because maybe that will help increase his trade value. Come trade deadline time to somebody who may need an extra goaltender or two if they're looking to make a playoff push at this time. I would say go that route.
I'm not against that. They So now you want to message me back.
Brodo is he is sulking right now, folks. I wish you could see this. He's just in the most debilitated state.
David Raska chiming back in with yes. He's agreeing with John. Clink off. Time for me to go to bed, gentlemen. Have a good show. 3 a.m. will come quick. You're a pansy. Suck it up. You're young yet. Doug Zeke, I don't know. I bet he won't be picked and traded. Oh, that's a reference to the Sixers. Okay, I got you. Mike Parker referring to the Sixers as well. We're on the clock. David Raska, my man Dave. Brian, are we ready to see the Ducks draft someone in the first round tomorrow night? Can't wait. Yeah, I'm with you, Dave. I can't wait too. I want to see what they do. I kind of hope they make a trade at some point in the first round.
Well, currently, you guys have the number 23 pick, and it's projecting you guys will take Callan Addison, who's a D-man, out of the Lethbridge WHL team.
Yeah, we need some defensive help. We really do. Thomas Arnone, you fam. Mike Parker, Landry Shamat, referring to the Sixers draft pick that just happened a couple minutes ago. Stephanie Hoover chiming in with, okay, come on. Don't be dumb. There we go. At least Ron Hextall won't draft the guy and then trade him directly after. It wasn't directly after. It was like 15 minutes.
You know what, though? Brodo brought this up, too, and this is the real sad part of it. Brodo said that they traded that kid right as he was going on an interview about staying home and being a member of the Sixers. That is the worst thing to hear, that an organization basically just fucked you outright.
It's not necessarily. It's still a business. They're still trying to build a team.
He was answering questions about how he's staying home, and the poor kid probably walked off the podium, and they're like, oh, hey, Michael, hey, you're going to Phoenix.
Poor guy.
I mean, look at it this way, though. He doesn't have to worry about snow in the winter anymore.
Just a lot of sunscreen.
I mean, that he does have to figure out what it's like to live
it's
out
a dry
in the
heat. At least
desert.
it's not humidity.
Yeah, that is true, actually. I mean,
it's more bearable.
I mean, also, he's going to a team that, at least will be there. At least he ain't going to, like, the Coyotes or something like that. There's no guarantee those fuckers are going to be around in the next 5 years.
Maddie, like I said to you before the show, right after Lazy Booking, you're very lucky to only have one team, man.
Yeah.
Just allow one team to break your heart, man.
Oh, don't worry. The Flyers figure out a way to do it, though, every goddamn year.
They break his heart enough for 4 teams.
Yeah, they do. Seriously, being a Flyers fan is like being a fan of all 4 major sports times 1,000 because they find a new way to piss you off one
By the
way
way,
or another.
Daly, real quick, I don't hate the pick.
You don't hate it, but you don't like it.
Nah, I mean,
It's
he's going to be gone in 5 minutes probably. So.
Probably. Stephanie goes on to say, we will just draft you and then send you away for 4 to 7 years. That sounds about right.
Yep.
James Wilder chiming in with, they better shore up on defense, or they want Hart to have any chance. If they want Hart to have any chance when he comes up,
no, and
they'll need a solid decor.
You are
and
correct.
I agree.
You are 100% correct because the last thing you want to do is to leave that guy out there and say, hey, guess what, man? We got no defense in front of you. Wonderful. Who's the captain of the defense? Andrew McDonald. I'm fucked. Like, seriously, that's an immediate reaction that I would have as the goalie. It's like, if Andrew McDonald's the captain on this team, I'm fucked. Simple as that.
Mike Parker responds with, Hart, let's go. Mike Parker's ready for Hart, as is the rest of Philadelphia.
Who is it, man? I want to see Carter Hart up here as soon as possible. Now, here's the thing, though. The Flyers, as they get closer, not just to draft day, I think the Flyers should really heavily consider trading for Karlsson.
Erik Karlsson?
Yes.
I mean, I said it last week. It'd be a smart move.
No, and they should
You have
do
two
it.
first-round picks this year. You probably have one next year. I think they have a couple second-round picks next year. You got the assets to do it, and I'm sure Ottawa will take draft picks, and then you can throw a couple players in on that.
Here's the thing. Whatever player you love the most out of the draft that you think is really going to be your pick, you keep that pick. You trade the other first one away, and you throw in one of your second-round picks, like you said, for next year. You have the ability. And if you can, I'm not saying it's possible. If you can throw Wayne fucking Simmons in there, do it.
I'm not against that.
Honestly, do it. You want to know why? Because you can bring a young player up with a lot of offensive potential that is sitting on the Phantoms right now that is not going to get the shot because Wayne Simmons has that spot.
And Wayne has 2 years left on his contract?
I think he does. Let me double check.
And that's the beauty
that.
about trading for Erik Karlsson right now is because he's got 2 years left on his contract too. So it's not like it's just going to be a rental year. You have him for 2 years. If he wants to stay in Philly, give him an extension. If not, be like, all right, thanks for your 2 years. It's been cool. We'll see you later.
Yeah. Plus, also, it gives a chance for us to have a captain on the defense that has a legitimate defensive resume. Yeah, Ottawa wasn't exactly the most thrilling in the world. But at the same time, though, Erik Karlsson was a major, major reason why that team went places 2 years ago. They went all the way to Eastern Conference Finals. It's hard to believe that a team went from first to absolute fucking worst in 1 year, but they fucking did.
That's on the offense, though.
That
the
is
offense
on
was just
offense,
putrid all year.
Yeah.
James Wilder, hashtag disagree, no contender, wants Elliott for the playoff push, which he's absolutely right. You can be lucky to get him to Arizona. And Stephanie Hoover says, we need a right-handed defenseman bad.
We need a lot of things on defense. What we really need, too, because we have young guys on the defense. We have terrible veterans on the defense. Again, looking at you, McDonald. Point is that you get a vet defenseman that's a good, solid defenseman that can do your young defense nothing but good. Take the A off of Andrew McDonald. He doesn't fucking need it, and he doesn't deserve it on top of it. Give it to that veteran D-man. Let him be the leader of the defensive core. Let him mold the young guys. And then we can just let McDonald ride out his contract and say fuck you once he finally goes, and good fucking riddance.
Oh, 3 more years.
I know. 3 more fucking years. I mean, god damn it. I think that was the last jab from Holmgren. It's like, oh, you don't think I can lead this team? You know what I'm going to fucking do? I'm going to sign Andrew McDonald. He's a piece of shit player, but you guys have no choice but to deal with him. Have fun with that, shithead. Like, seriously. I swear to God that's the reason why he's on this goddamn team. I swear to God.
He had a good half a year when he came over at the trade deadline, but after that he's been just so inconsistent.
Absolutely terrible.
And I know we talk about it every week, but Greg Malakovich chiming in with offense. I love to find a young kid who can absolutely snipe. I know where we're sitting, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be there. But it seems like, but I need a guy who can put the puck in the net.
That's not a bad thing either, because the Flyers really, they do have the ability to trade up in this draft. They have enough prospects to where you can burn one and it's not going to kill your team and build up your system. And you could shoot for the moon and try to get high in this draft and say, you know what? Let's go and shoot high. Let's see what we can do. I don't think you'd necessarily I don't know if you get to number 1. I don't think there's enough for us to say to Buffalo, hey, we want the number 1 pick. Give us Rasmus. The only way we could do that is if
you'd have to sell the farm.
You would have to sell either the farm or you'd have to sell Claude Giroux, Wayne Simmons, and then 3 or 4 prospects on top of that in order to get Rasmus Dahlin.
Well, let's see what you think about this, because this is an interesting trade.
Or Shvetnikov, where Carolina's already pretty much said outright they're picking him at 2.
So Stephanie says, Wayne Simmons for Dougie Hamilton and a second-round pick. Throw Nuvi in there, and she's happy. I kind of like that deal to bring in Dougie Hamilton.
Bring Dougie Hamilton, another solid veteran presence that we can have, and on top of that, too, a legit veteran presence we can have on this team.
I like the idea of playing Dougie Hamilton with Shane Gostisbehere.
I would love that because you know what? Shane can learn so much from him, and he has that potential. Gostisbehere has the potential. They've said it before, and they'll say it again. He can quarterback a defense. He is gonna be the future defensive captain of the Flyers. We just need to get him to that spot. We need to bridge that gap. Andrew McDonald's not gonna fucking do it. So we need someone who can do it. Dougie Hamilton is the perfect guy to do this.
And there's rumors of him being shopped in Calgary. He was on the TSN trade bait list that I was reading
I'm down with
earlier this afternoon.
I'm absolutely 1,000% down with that trade. That is a smart move. Absolute smart move.
Yeah, and then you could bring up a younger guy like a Vecchione. Maybe even that opens up a spot for Morgan Frost to play with TK.
Possibly, because either one.
TK and Nolan Patrick on that second line.
Absolutely. I think either person is great for secondary scoring. Morgan Frost is a guy who clearly has the ability to make a better presence on a line. He can make players better around him. Barrett Hayton, for one example, because he did boost up Hayton's career in Sault Ste. Marie. If he has the potential to do that with somebody in the junior level, if he can do that in the pro, that would be brilliant. And he did a lot of great things for the Phantoms down in Lehigh Valley. Because let's put this into perspective. The Phantoms went all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals this year. That shows you how good the Flyers farm system is.
Yep.
And it shows you the potential that offense has and the defense on top of it when they come up to the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah, I mean, Flyers fans should be just I get that, you're chomping at the bit here.
Of course. Who isn't?
You won a championship. You've seen all these guys compete. You're seeing the Flyers being able to start to compete, and you're seeing what they have.
And you see the Eagles win a Super Bowl.
And that helps, too. You see the Sixers and how their process is going. Chomping at the bit to get the young guys up here. But in order for these young guys to come up, you got to free up the space.
Yes.
And unfortunately, right now, there's no space. So you're probably going to have to make some moves. Steve Kozowski chiming in. Hi, guys. What's up, Steve?
What's up, man?
We're not going to get anything for Noivy. And that's probably true. You just throw him in there. It's just kind of like a
we're
going to help you get a
rid
little
of
bit
him.
closer to that cap.
Quite frankly, I just don't want Neuwirth anywhere near this team anymore. The guy gets hurt he could scrape his fucking thumb, and it would be enough for him to have a goddamn quadricep tear. Like, that's the kind of guy he is. He's that bad of a player. He's that injury prone. And you know what the sad part of it is? If Neuwirth didn't have so many bad injury problems, he might actually be a decent goalie to have on your team. Maybe not as a starter, but...
No, it's definitely as a backup. He's been a solid backup his entire career.
Unfortunately, if it wasn't for the injury problems, I would have no problem with him being our backup. Honest to God, would have no issues with him being our backup goalie.
Yeah, he's just made of glass. Oh, man. Look who decided to chime in. My boy, Timothy Stow.
What's up, man?
Tim, man, where you been? He wants to know. It's a basketball-related question, but let's give our best answer here.
Oh, we'll bring in Brodo for this one. I know he's kind of depressed, but I think he can answer a question.
Yeah, I'm here.
Will LeBron stay or leave Cleveland?
Oh, he's leaving Cleveland.
He's leaving. I have no doubt in my mind he's gone. He's gone.
Just don't ask me where he's going. Just don't do it to me.
Philly, baby.
Okay, so we're not going to get into that.
Don't do it to me. Don't do it to me.
You look like you're suffering enough, so we'll let you be.
It'd be so funny if literally right here on this screen, it's revealed that LeBron James goes to a team that we would never have thought he'd go to.
You mean Philly?
No, because that's a team that people are guessing. I'm thinking like maybe a team like the goddamn Raptors or some shit like that. Seriously,
at this point, any team but the Lakers, man.
Yeah. Oh my
Seriously.
God, that would be hilarious if he's if he just wound up on a random ass team like that, or like a damn Timberwolves.
He winds up
or
playing
something.
in Europe.
Yeah, or he just goes to Europe for no fucking reason.
LeBron, just retire.
Yeah.
Come to Flyers.
cares?
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Go to
yeah.
the Ducks. Let's change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Michael played baseball. You know what I mean? LeBron, let's go play hockey.
Yeah.
Apparently, he can play football. So I don't know. We'll see.
Watch him join the Eagles.
UFC. Let's just do it all. Just don't,
Yeah.
just
Do
don't,
something.
Just don't go to Lakers.
Challenges Brock Lesnar to a one-on-one battle. even though
I'd
he's
buy
not-
it.
Yeah.
I'd buy it 10 times.
I think a lot of people would buy that.
And then he
Yeah.
challenges Floyd Mayweather to a boxing match right after that.
Trade Wayne Simmons to the Lakers. Let's get LeBron over here. You know what I mean?
Oh. All right.
I hope that answered him. I hope that answered his question.
I hope so too.
One can only try.
Nah, he's gone. Cleveland's in the rear view. He already packed his shit. He's gone.
Yeah. Now, Wayne Simmons is on the last year of his deal. He is a Flyer through 2018-19 season.
That's even more intriguing. Because
And he'll be 30 once this deal's over.
okay, this is even better for the Flyers. This could work out really well for the Flyers if this goes the way that I think it will. Now, if Wayne Simmons is 100% healthy like he claims he is,
Yeah, when Wayne says it, you don't know, though.
and he gets back to his old scoring ways where he's putting up 30 goals a year, that's value.
Big value.
Big value. And his contract's only at what, 4.5, 4.6 mil this year? That's his hit?
It's not one of the killer ones.
No, it's not a big hit at all. Bro, a contender's going to want that.
Especially considering the fact that, say a team like, how about this? What if Washington lost players in this offseason?
Which they probably will.
They probably will. You could sell them to Washington and just say, hey, you guys want him, take him, but we want a D-man. We want a veteran D-man
They have some
on our
decent
team.
D-man.
And they have some decent veteran D-men on that team that could actually benefit the Flyers. I mean, we're not going to get Shattenkirk, obviously, because he's no longer a Capital. Boy, do you think he feels bad? Like, do you think he feels like shit, though, considering the fact he missed the chance to be a Stanley Cup champion?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. He's playing where he wants to be.
What?
He's
Where
playing
did
in
he
the
go to
He's
again?
playing with the Rangers.
That's right.
That's where he grew up. That's the team he grew up watching. He'll go through the trials that he's going through.
I mean,
just
that's
to play
the thing,
for them.
though, because he's kind of a veteran, and he kind of now has to sit and languish for a few years because the Rangers decided to rebuild their franchise and just say, fuck it all. Like,
Christopher Enstreit, Simmons isn't going anywhere. Okay, so right now, no. Is he going to get traded at the draft? No. Depending on where the Flyers are position-wise next year, come the trade deadline, it's a really good possibility that Wayne Simmons gets traded to another team. He's on the last year of his contract. There's no guarantee he's coming back.
honestly, that's the thing, too. It's the last year of his contract. Anything can happen.
If the Flyers are not in playoff contention next year and Simmons is playing well, trade him. Get something for him. Don't let him just walk away while he's having another tremendous year.
Yeah, on top of that, too. Now, here's the thing, though. The Flyers will probably be competitive for a wild card spot, but that's the key. It's a wild card spot. And the problem is that it's going to be even tougher next year than it was this year because the Metropolitan, if Carolina plays their cards right, Carolina could easily make the playoffs this next season. I mean, they have. Now, here's the thing, though.
I think they're going to start blowing it up a little bit. I mean, obviously, like we were talking about a little bit off the air, Jeff Skinner's available for trade. He's number 3 on the trade bait list.
He is, but that's the thing, though. If nobody bites down on him, which would be stupid if you didn't, but if nobody does, if they play their cards right, they could actually put a team together that could become a problem.
No, agreed.
Real quick, if they're smart enough to do this.
But then again, so Justin Falk, their best defenseman's on the block too. So if they lose him,
Well, if they lose him, then if they lose him, they're fucked because they need a guy to be the leader of their defense.
well, Noah Hannafin's going to be that next guy up. But
yeah, but he's still got time that he needs on the development side. But that actually wouldn't be a bad option either to look into Justin Falk for the Flyers.
that wouldn't be a bad.
He's a solid D-man that I would take any day of the week to be a veteran leader for the team.
Christopher goes on to say Caps are losing 4 guys or losing 4 players. Come on, guys, know your stuff. Hello, Chris. There's no guarantee these guys are leaving.
Yeah, there's no guarantee. They may stay.
Will they
because of
stay?
that.
Probably not.
No, I mean they probably take a payday, but the question is where are they going to go? You know,
They just won a Stanley Cup, and the team is still intact to win another.
it depends.
is-
you know,
It all depends on what they want. They all got the championship. Do they want the payday?
yeah,
Do they want to go play somewhere else because they've been in Washington for a while? I mean, the one guarantee that, well, almost guarantee that won't be back in Washington is probably going to be John Carlson.
yeah. And look
He's
at
the only one that's probably going to leave.
And look at it this way, too. Pittsburgh, after they won their first cup, out of the 2 straight that they didn't really lose too many players.
No, they got players back.
Yeah, out of that. So it isn't a guarantee that people are just going to take a payday and go. You know, it's not a guarantee. And they stayed in Pittsburgh, and they won another one right after that. Then everybody left. That's when they decided to leave town after they won the second one. But
I mean, if you look at the main guys, right? John Carlson, free agent. T.J. Oshie, long-term deal. Nicholas Backstrom, long-term deal. Alex Ovechkin, long-term deal. Braden Holtby, long-term deal. Evgeny Kuznetsov is probably going to be signed to a long-term deal.
Yeah.
Lars Eller still has another year or 2 left on his contract. This team's going to keep competing for now. Players are going to want to be a part of it.
It depends on the situation, really. I mean, honestly, it just depends on what teams are offering, what they can get for them, and if they're willing to give them a big payday. That's really what it comes down to. Loyalty is not really around. It's seen in hockey.
Loyalty's not. It's not really anywhere anymore.
It's seen in hockey a little bit more than it's seen in other sports. Sometimes baseball depends, but really at the end of the day, it really just depends. It depends on the player. It depends on the situation. It depends on what the offer is. If not, you can always re-sign back to home team. Look at John Tavares. He may not actually leave. He may actually stay in the Islanders organization. And the only reason why we say that now is because Barry Trotz, after winning a Stanley Cup, left, and he just got hired as the New York Islanders' new head coach.
Bizarre. Chris goes on to say they are leaving. Money talks. Didn't pay their coach. Yes, money does talk. But hockey players aren't like most other professional athletes where you dangle money in front of them, they're going to go. There are some players out there that are like that, but some guys just want to be set up to win. They want their name on the cup as many times as possible.
I mean, see, that's the thing, too. Many people stay in organizations. Like, not that he was a game changer, but Scott Hartnell, after the 2010 year, he took a pay cut to stay with the Flyers. Now, it didn't last long because he wound up getting traded, but the point is that he wound up staying because he wanted to stay in Philadelphia. You know, there's guys who were willing to do that. What was it? Connor McDavid. He took a pay cut so that they could keep players in Edmonton.
Yeah, he took a pay cut to keep Leon Draisaitl there for 8
Edmonton.
years.
So it's like it can happen in hockey. It happens in hockey more often than it does in most other sports. It's not like where you see a LeBron James go from team to team to go try and win himself another NBA championship, because that's what LeBron likes to do. He likes to team hop so he can win himself titles, you know? I don't blame him. When you're the best player in the league right now, might as well do it. It gets you championships. Who cares?
I mean, we'll see what happens come July 1st. We don't know. I'm not trying to speculate anything, but I'm just saying we don't know what's going to happen yet. The only one that is most likely to leave is probably going to be John Carlson. That's all I'm saying.
True. But again, point is that, you know, with the way the Flyers are in position right now, they could easily use these 2 picks and continue to just restock their team, which I have no problem with. Continue to restock the shelves, keep the team young and fresh, get a rotating, revolving door of young talent in there like Anaheim does, for example.
Anaheim actually needs to get younger.
Which is weird when you think about that. Well, it's because of the fact that you guys kept picking late in the draft because you were constantly always.
Well, I mean, we got talent. We got talent.
I know you got talent.
But
it's just that, you know.
Look at Ryan Kessler. He's over 30.
Yeah.
Corey Perry over 30.
Getzlaf
over 30. Antoine Vermette, who's a pending free agent, he's almost 40. So I mean, there's guys on that roster that, you know, they're starting to get a little long in the tooth. So
I could actually see the Ducks trading Antoine Vermette for maybe a small something.
They don't need. They don't necessarily need to, but
I think they would, just because, you know what? If they want to get younger, like you say, it isn't a bad option to say, like, Antoine Vermette's not going to be around for much longer on this team. Who knows if he wants to stay?
another week and a half.
Yeah, I mean, you could send him away and just like, you know what? We'll trade him for.
Yeah,
a
I mean,
pick
we
or
could
two,
trade
you
his
know,
rights,
like-
but I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. I mean, Anaheim's already said that they're not going to re-sign him. They want to get a little bit younger. There's going to be changes. I think this is Brian Murray's last year or last shot. And, Randy Carlyle's in the last year of his contract. I think they want to try and see what they can do before, changes need to be made. And by changes, I mean upper management changes.
We'll see. We'll see moving forward on that one. Speaking of changes going on right now, let's take a look here at what the Flyers are going to look like come next season, because they did actually put out the current schedule, as a matter of fact, for this year's NHL season. So we'll take a look at that later on. But let's take a look at the Flyers roster. Let's run it down here. Let's see, who do we think is going to make this team this year? Like, who do we think will be taking up spots, and who do we think is leaving this team? I mean, we already know some, but who do we think really is leaving this team?
I think Morgan Frost makes the roster this year.
Okay.
I think Philip Meyer makes a strong case for making the roster this year. Maybe Wade Allen might make some noise. I don't think he makes the roster, but he'll make some noise in training camp this year. He was a steal in the third round. He actually has first-round talent, so we'll see what he can do. I think Vecchione makes the roster. And I think they make some trades tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to be anything significant. I think it's just going to free up some cap space so they can make a run after some free agents that are out there.
Yeah, that's true. That's probably what we're going to see for the most part. But when it comes time to see any, like, obviously we know who's staying. We know that Giroux's staying. We know that Couturier is sticking around. We know that there are guys like, I would say, like, you would think Yuri Laterra would be a guy who would probably leave.
Nah, I don't think he has the value. I mean, you might be able to package him in a deal, but I don't think he's going anywhere. I think we're stuck with him for the last year of his contract.
That's true, but trade deadline time, maybe we can toss him in with somebody. An interesting one, though, is what do you think that they will do with a guy like Scott Lawton?
I think you give him one last shot because he had moments last year where he looked really good.
Yes.
You play him on the third line. I guess you put him at left wing because that's where he's been playing. Yeah, I say you give him one last shot. I mean, what do you really got to lose? I mean, he was a highly touted prospect when they drafted him, and injuries have slowed him up. They slowed up his development, slowed up his progress, and if he can stay healthy this year, I think he might be a good bottom six player for the Flyers.
All right.
He's a good faceoff guy too.
Yeah, that's true. He is a good faceoff guy. So let's take a look here at who are pending free agents and restricted free agents. Obviously, Taylor Lyer is a restricted free agent come the end of this. He'll probably get re-signed to the Flyers.
I'd like to see him get re-signed because he had spurts of good play with the Flyers on the fourth line.
I think it's safe to say he's going to. Unrestricted free agents, Matt Reed, well, he's leaving. We all know that. And so is Valtteri Filppula. Those are the two unrestricted free agents on the forwards. For defense, Robert Hogg is going to be a restricted free agent.
Well, I think that's no doubt in my mind that he gets re-signed.
Brandon Manning, he's another guy who they're probably going to say goodbye to, and so is going to be Johnny Aduya. And restricted free agent is going to be Peter Mrazek. That's a guy that, quite frankly,
he's going to free agency.
He's probably going to go to free agency. And it's sad because, he didn't do bad for the Flyers, but it's just like, you know what? We have enough talent in goaltending. I would rather see Brian Elliott and Alex Lyon as the goaltending team if Carter Hart does not take the #1 overall starting position. And hell, if he does, a part of me even feels like, you know what? Fuck Elliott. I don't want him anywhere on the team. Put Lyon as his goddamn backup because you're like, fuck
Well,
it.
here's the thing.
You know, like seriously.
Flyers have a tendency of using goalie. They like to play the goalie carousel.
They do.
They like to platoon them.
I hate that.
If Carter Hart makes this roster, and this is a big if, out of camp, he's going to platoon him with Brian Elliott so he can get as much playing time as possible and not overwhelm him.
That is true.
That's what the Ducks did with Frederick Anderson and Johnny Gibson for the first 2 years of Gibson up there. And then they traded him.
That is true. Now, here is actually something very interesting as I look through who are in the minors as people that are looking like they're going to become free agents. Samuel Moran is due to be a restricted free agent. So that's an interesting situation right there. Tyrell Goulbourne, who could be a restricted free agent. Alex Lyon actually is up to be a restricted free agent. So I don't know. Again, this is the problem of if you do re-sign Alex Lyon, you obviously want to do it short term because of the fact that you don't know whether or not Carter Hart's going to take the #1 overall spot come the end of training camp this year. Because it really all hinges on that. Because if he does, Alex Lyon has to be the backup for Brian Elliott. It can't be Michael Neuwirth, and it's not going to be Mrazek. It has to be him. It really does, because I think Lyon showed that if he isn't going to be a starter, he's good enough to be the backup for Brian Elliott. And they're good enough to be a tandem together to at least carry us and bridge the gap to Carter Hart.
No, I agree. I mean, I say you sign Alex Lyon to a 2-year deal max. Give him decent money to come back. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't see Carter Hart breaking the NHL this year.
I mean,
so
he
you gotta rock
to.
with. He wants to. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's gonna get it. He's gonna get it. But
no,
you have to realize you still got 2 goalies with tons of NHL experience ready to go. And Brian Elliott, by no means, is a terrible goalie. Is he great? No. Is he good? I'd say he's mediocre.
He's a Band-Aid on the cancer that we have currently that is a lack of goaltender. Like that. That's
right, and he's only got 1 year left on his contract. Same with Neuwirth. So, I know everybody's ready to see Carter, but let Carter develop. He's 19 years old. Let him develop. Let him play in the AHL next year. See, so he can play against guys who aren't not prospects.
Well, that and also the fact that you don't want to throw him to the wolves immediately because that's the risk you run when you start a young goalie. When you bring in a young goalie, one of two things is either going to happen. Either A, they're going to be phenomenal in their first year, and they're going to take 2 or 3 years before they get back to that again. Or he's going to absolutely get crushed in his first season because he's not ready for the NHL level. I don't think that would happen to Carter Hart.
I actually think that might be what happens.
Really?
Because he's playing up against. Think about it. He's playing in the IIHF,
the World Junior Championship.
Yeah, he's not going up against NHL prospects entirely. He's going up against some. He's going up against kids that are 18, 19 years old. Some of them haven't been drafted. Some of them have. You put him in the AHL where he's going up against actual guys who are up for NHL jobs and see how he handles it.
Yeah.
Guys that have been around. Some guys in the NHL have some NHL experience. Some guys don't.
Yeah.
But see how he does against that in a worst-case scenario. At the trade deadline, if he plays well enough at the trade deadline, move a goalie and bring him up and let him platoon the rest of the year just so he can get his feet wet if he plays well enough.
Yeah, true.
Let him develop. Everybody's rushing him because of what they've seen in juniors. Just because he's been good in juniors, doesn't mean it's going to translate well to the NHL level because he's going up against the best in the world.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, when it is a tough transitional period of time, and that's why it's almost like you would feel comfortable with. You would feel very comfy if he did have someone who was like a vet to show him. And Brian Elliott would be that guy, but the thing is, like, you don't want him to sit on the bench the whole time. And that
No, you
would
platoon him.
You would want to platoon him at that point, and you would want him to be comfortable at the NHL level. You don't want him to feel, jittery at that moment in time, because that's what happened to Alex Lyon.
It's his first start. He's going to be jittery. It doesn't matter. Like, even Alex Lyon was jittery in his first start, and everybody ripped him apart. But you know what?
Which was not fair.
He settled down, and he played solid hockey.
Yeah. And that was not fair when people jumped on Lyon's case. Because you know what? How would you feel if you were playing on the Phantoms the entire time, and because the team flat out lost their starting goalie, and they have a paper-skinned glass bone backup, you need to get called up and start for the Flyers? You're not going to be in the perfect mindset to immediately start for that team. You're going to be like, oh, shit, I'm now an NHL goalie. Like, you're going to get caught off guard big time. But
some players handle nerves better than others.
Well, speaking of a guy who handled nerves pretty well in his couple of starts that he did, another guy who's actually up to be a restricted free agent is Anthony Stolarz.
I think you move on from him, unfortunately. I mean, he played well in the handful of games that he's played for the Flyers, but you got to move on from somebody. I think Alex Lyon could be a solid backup, and I think Stolarz could be a starter somewhere. And it's not going to be here.
No.
Because obviously you got Carter Hart, and then you got Felix Sandstrom coming right behind him.
See, that's the problem of having so many goaltending prospects, is that you're going to have to part ways with one of them. And it does look like Stoley, unfortunately, he's going to be the odd man out here. He became a victim of the fact that they didn't want to put him as the starter originally when they brought him up. And then on top of that, too, Brian Elliott got signed. So it's like, it just seems – and then he got hurt. And I think that's what really killed it for him, because if he hadn't got hurt, I guarantee you it would not have been Alex Lyon called up. It would have been him. And he probably would have stayed as the backup permanently if he had not suffered an injury.
And they never would have traded for Mrazek either.
No, they would have never had to have traded for Mrazek in the first place. It would have been Stolarz as the starting goalie.
It's just a shame. He's going to be a good goalie somewhere. It's just not going to be here.
No,
I think he's gone.
It looks like we're going to have to put that out.
Somebody, I mean, you got to make these choices.
Yeah, they're tough. They're tough choices, but that's what happens when you got a stocked-up system. It is what it is. So with that, we will go to break. When we come back, we'll take a look at the Flyers' regular season schedule. And then on top of that, too, a couple of other tidbits. Apparently, the NHL salary cap is going to be boosted up to $80 million. What does that mean for the Philadelphia Flyers currently? Does that mean good? Does that mean bad? We'll see on the other side. But first, we'll talk to you all about Sports Outlet. For all your sporting needs, they're located at 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030. Email sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com. This is the Hockey Happy Hour on a2jradio.com. If you joined us on Facebook, thank you very much. Feel free to join us on YouTube. There will be a link in the description down below in the comment section. Join us for the rest here on YouTube. For everyone on YouTube, we'll see you right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW Atlantic Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. I am Matt Studio. This is Brian the Darkwing Daily. Behind the board is Ryan Brodo, the man, the myth, the legend, who is currently just trying to direct his attention. The Sixers made their first second-round pick of the evening.
I'll let you know.
Right.
I'll assess.
While he contemplates and goes through a therapy session. We were talking about the Philadelphia Flyers and their drafting choices and what they're going to focus on here going into this year's draft. It's a rough year for the Flyers in a good way. The reason being is that they did stock up the shelves in offense. They also stocked up very well on defense. So the shelves are there. They got plenty of shit that's not going to go bad for a while. So now the real question is it's kind of that year where now it's like, they don't really have the cap space to play games where they can get rid of a guy that they don't want anymore here or a guy they don't want anymore there. But they can start to get the system going where it's a rotating door of young talent, and that's kind of what this year can become, where they start to get more of those young guys in, then they start getting that farm system that just keeps churning out young, very talented prospects.
And I think that's what the Flyers need to focus on for the next year, is figuring out what talent they have in Lehigh and start bringing them in. I kind of don't want to see him go after really anybody in free agency. Obviously, you're going to need to make a move or two in free agency, but I would rather see some of these kids come up than go out and getting anybody huge. Just seeing what you have.
I agree with you up until defense. That is the only thing we need a legitimate veteran on.
No, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
The only thing that we need in terms of defense and veteranship. We don't need a flashy scorer veteran. We don't need any of that shit. We just need that.
You need veteran leadership on defense, and they don't really have that.
And once we get that, things are going to look a lot better for this team in the near future. But we will now turn our attention to the future along with the draft. The NHL regular season schedule was released for the 2018-19 season.
I got to get tickets for February 9th.
And I don't. Oh, wow. So the Flyers open theirs on October 4th, but they're doing it on the road. And you will never guess who they get to open up their season with.
On the road?
On the road. Guess who they get to start their season?
Anaheim's got a rough schedule. I was looking at it earlier. They got like 4 or 5 trips out to the East Coast this year because they broke everything up. I'm going to say it seems to be a tendency. I'm going to say the Capitals.
No, it's out west.
San Jose?
Nope.
I know that's their home opener.
Nope. It's not a California team.
Arizona?
Getting closer.
Vegas?
It's Vegas.
Okay.
So we get to open up Vegas' second season in the NHL and play out there for our first matchup of the year.
How many games you got out west to start?
We only have 2, so it's not as bad.
Not bad.
And actually, we face Vegas on October 4th, and then we face Colorado. So we do 2 home openers. We come back to Philly to face San Jose in ours. And then the following day, we get to go up to Ottawa and play them. And then come back to finish up our regular season run with the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah,
so we're going to get the Golden Knights right the fuck out of the way, right in the first 2 weeks of the season.
Dude, it's going to be rough. It's going to be a rough start for a lot of teams out there. I'm going to pull up Anaheim's schedule real quick. I got to make sure I don't actually go into the video that they released.
Why? Because they have cursing in it?
No, not at all. It's just a long, annoying video.
Oh, okay.
All right, so, come on, load. Okay, so we open up Wednesday, October 3rd at San Jose at Arizona. So that's where we start. And then we come home for 2 where we play. We open up Honda Center against Detroit, which, do you know the significance of that?
Honestly, I don't.
There's significance to this season since it's the 25th anniversary of the team. They're recreating a little bit of the 1993 season. So they opened up what was then the Arrowhead Pond. They opened up their inaugural season against the Detroit Red Wings.
Okay.
So that's kind of
Interesting.
cool. So they're gonna do a lot. They're gonna have a lot of fun with that.
So you think
this
they're
year.
gonna wear like old retro style
I don't know if they're gonna
jerseys?
wear retro style, but from what I hear, they have a third jersey coming out this year. Apparently, it's gonna be revealed tomorrow.
I honestly though, I think they should. I think they should actually go out dressed in the very first Anaheim Ducks jersey, colors and everything.
But it's weird because the video only had certain dates
Huh?
that they covered. So I'm assuming that they're just doing something special those dates.
Huh?
So I got to go back and look at
Well,
the dates and try and see if I can figure out a trip
Let me
out
take
there.
a look at some significant dates that the Flyers have. So the Flyers' first rival that they're going to be going up against is the fucking shit-sucking New Jersey Devils, and they're going to face them on a Saturday.
Yeah, but those games are always fun to watch.
Yeah, and it's going to be in Philly, so that's going to
Oh,
be
no,
an
what
interesting
happened?
They
situation.
traded him.
Traded who?
The guy that he's picked that I liked. Kyrie
Kyrie Thomas? What the what?
Straight. It was a great pick,
Are
and they
you
traded him.
fucking kidding
Yeah,
me?
straight up.
Good God.
I
What?
can't.
I love it.
I can't,
You know,
I
it's-
can't do
It
this
is a
anymore.
real shame that
I
there's
can't.
not a basketball show on right now because it has been a freaking
What did they
shit
get in
show
return?
right
Did they
now.
announce yet?
I'll be with you in a second. I'll get back to you.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, what other rivals?
This
Oh,
is why I say I'm 3.5 out of 4 in Philly.
Yeah. We also have Boston we're going to be facing in the first month, and we're going to face them in Boston. Ooh.
We traded him to the Pistons. Oh, my, great.
Oh,
God, they haven't
gosh.
been relevant in like fucking forever.
This is the 80s.
Yeah, Christ. Actually, didn't they win a championship in the early 2000s?
I
The
don't think so.
Pistons?
Did they or did they not?
Sure.
All
Why
right,
not?
I
I
don't
know they were
fucking
there.
know.
No,
I
I
just-
think they did.
Anyway,
I remember being there, but
Anyway, let's see. Who else are we going to face? So that's our only rivals we face in the first month. Who do we face in the second month? We face the Devils again.
Well,
we
you don't
face them in
have-
New Jersey.
they mixed up a lot of, and from what it sounded like,
Holy
they mixed
shit.
up a lot of the scheduling and the traveling this year.
They did because
So they're ending like long road trips, especially like the ones when you're going coast to coast.
yeah.
Because like I said, Anaheim's got like 3 or 4 East Coast trips this year where they're only playing like 2 or 3 games. And
Yeah,
then they
they're
go
not-
right back out west.
Yeah, they're not doing a whole lot of coast to coast with the Flyers either because it's looking like the end of the month in October, on October 30th, we better mark that date down because Anaheim's facing Philly in Anaheim. After that, on the 1st of January, on New Year's Day, they actually face off with Nashville. So it's not coast to coast. It's you're sort of getting closer, but it's not on coast to coast.
So Anaheim doesn't come out here until February, and
And that is February
9th, I believe.
9th, yes.
so
Which is
all
a
right. So
Saturday.
they come out. Oh wow, maybe I was wrong
Uh,
about that. So starting February 2nd, Anaheim's on a East Coast trip. They start in Winnipeg, go to Toronto, go to Montreal, go to Ottawa, then they ended on Philly. And holy shit, that's a 10 a.m. game out there. What time does that say on Eastern time?
Honestly, I don't.
So it's 10 a.m. It's
know.
probably a 1 o'clock game.
Holy shit, it's an afternooner. Wow.
All right.
That's cruel to a West team. That really is a fucking cruel thing to do to a West Coast team.
But it might benefit them because they got to go back home to play Vancouver on February 13th. So they'll have like 3-4 days.
That's a good point. You know what, though? You know what that means? It means that you and me, we need to get tickets. We need to get tickets. We need to go see that game, to see the Flyers face the Ducks.
Well, I'm seeing that game. I don't. Whoever's coming with me is coming with me. But I'm just saying, I'll be there.
Yeah, we have to do that. That has to happen. And then, speaking of teams that I hate. No, I'm joking. I don't hate the Ducks. I hate the Devils, though. When are the Flyers facing Pittsburgh for the first time this season? Oh, they have to wait all the way until when? Really? We got to wait that long to face these pieces of shits? We got to wait till fucking February? Wow.
What it's sounding like.
We got to wait till February 11th on a goddamn Monday of all things in Philly to face Pittsburgh for the first time.
Isn't that that's the outdoor game, isn't it?
Oh, shit. I think you're
That's
right.
this year.
That's the first game of the Battle of Pennsylvania for this season. It's going to be the outdoor game. Oh, boy. What a way to bring that son of a bitch into the fold. Whew. Outdoor game.
Yeah. Yeah. I got to try and get tickets to that just to say I've been doing an outdoor game.
Dude, yeah, that's going to be rough. They're going to be expensive as shit to get tickets. But
Well, I'll sit last row. I don't fucking care.
you know what? Honestly, I would too. I honestly would. Question is, are Philly going to wear, like, are we going to finally, like, see Philly wear some interesting jerseys on these ones? Because the last time they had a really cool jersey in the outdoor stadium was the Winter Classic one. Because I'll be honest with
Which
you.
turned into the road jersey.
Which, yes, it did. Oh, no. That's the 2010 one. I mean the 2012 one. Those ones were cool. They were kind of a ripoff of the New Jersey Devils look, but it looks better with the Flyers.
The orange one with the
yeah.
black?
Yeah, I thought
okay.
they look cool. They looked cool.
Okay.
But anyway, anything Pittsburgh wears is going to be piss yellow, and I'm going to hate it. But let's see here. Who else we got? Then we can face Pittsburgh again later that month on the 23rd in Philly. So we're going to get the 2 games in Philly right out of the fucking way. Oh, I'm wrong. We actually get to face them in December. In Pittsburgh. Oh, great. I'm just looking forward to that.
I think this team's going to be better.
You know,
I don't
honestly,
think it's going to be nearly as much to worry about as
no,
before.
honestly, I don't think so either. I think these two teams are going to be so evenly matched going into this season. I think it was proved during the playoffs that these teams are actually a lot more even than they say. Meanwhile, Brian's laughing hysterically at something.
It's just a little gif I got. Because I'm pretty sure Bredo's made that face tonight a couple times. Oh, man.
It's an amazing thing, a draft. It can bring so much hope and so much despair, and all it has to do is happen
And then
in 5 seconds.
Breaks your heart.
Yep, it just happens, all rolled up into one.
You never know. I came into this show on the brink of tears. I could leave this show on the brink of tears for another reason.
This is true. Right now, it's tears of sorrow.
Well,
It's not going to. I don't. If they keep going the way they're going, I don't think it's going to be brink of tears. I think you will be in tears.
As long as it's happy tears.
He's like, God damn it.
taste sweeter.
Tony, if the people at home, if you just see like a shadow come flying across the camera, that's Tom. That's Tom flying down. That means something good happened.
Yes, that's pretty much what we would say. Wow, so we
Wait,
finished.
that's going to happen tonight?
It may.
If they get Kawhi,
depends.
there's a video playing of Tom and I run down the street,
Oh.
and Tom needs to come down here to get to me.
So
Well, yeah.
if you are in the Real Talk Sports group, feel free to jump in on that. By the way, David Rosca chimed in. He says, I'm here on YouTube, boys, from Words of the Dudleys. What's up, boys? What's up?
Hello,
Anyway,
David.
he goes on to say, quack, 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 quack. Let's go, Ducks. And he also says, where is Rob Povia? Well, Robbie is not here right now, but
You're stuck with me.
you never know. Rob could make an appearance anytime, any place, anywhere. The Pove.
He's around.
The broken one, he could strike at any time. Yes.
Don't worry. He's around.
Yes. he
He's
is.
around. That just sounded creepy. That just sounded really creepy.
You make it seem like. Why? Why make it sound creepy? It sounds
I don't
awesome.
know.
It sounds perfectly normal for someone to be around and stalking. But anyway. All right. So, that being said, going through the schedule, it's an interesting looking schedule for the Flyers. It's an interesting looking schedule in general for the NHL. Like you said, they are breaking up a lot of long
they're
road
breaking up a
trips.
lot of road trips. They're making some road trips later than others.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to make or break the season for any teams, I think.
No. Honestly,
We know who the playoff teams are going to be. We know who's not going to be in
The-
the playoffs, and we know who's going to be on the bubble. It's not
See,
the schedule's not going to make or break it.
Here's the thing. I'm wondering who will be on the bubble because the thing about it is the Metropolitan is going to be so difficult again this year. I'm wondering what they're going to do.
It just makes those division games that much more important.
It does. Thing is that I'm wondering with the team that Washington has, are they going to stay in the divisional spot or are they going to actually drop to wild card?
Well, we know the Rangers are going to drop down.
Yo, the Rangers are definitely going to drop down.
We know Washington's probably going to take that top spot again.
Pittsburgh's
Pittsburgh will be in a division spot.
probably third.
Devils could be in competition for that other division spot.
Could
The
be.
Flyers could be Flyers could be a wild card team again this year.
They could be. They could also compete for the third spot with Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
I could see
absolutely.
that possibly being what's going to happen. Columbus is also going to be another one of those teams that's going to be a pain in the freaking ass all goddamn year long.
But in order for me to really break it down and see who's going to wind up being where, I have to see what these teams are doing. I got to see what
Yeah.
moves are being made, who's going to be traded tomorrow, who's not going to be traded tomorrow, who's drafted, who's signing where on July 1st.
True.
Which, what day is that? That's a Monday? Sunday?
What
Sunday,
is-
right?
What?
July
For-
1st?
For free agency?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's weird. Sunday morning?
Well, I mean, they usually started on the day after the draft, so usually free agency pretty much begins.
So, yeah, I mean, as of right now, Flyers are a wild card team.
I mean,
Let's see what they do in free
Let's
agency and
see.
see what they do in the draft, and then we'll see if they're going to go up or they're going to drop.
Well, I think they'll. I don't think they'll drop. I think if anything, it'll be status quo. If anything else, honestly, I mean, the only way it could be where they drop and they don't make the playoffs is if the team just underperforms immediately coming out of the chute, and if they immediately underperform, oh boy, shit's gonna happen, and it's not gonna be good shit either. Can guarantee it.
Well, I kind of hope they do kind of start off slow, only because that's going to force Hextall. That should force Hextall, and I know Hextall beats to his own drum. He should make those changes that are necessary, bring up the young guys. If young guys aren't performing, send them down, bring in a veteran presence. Just be ready for anything and not wait till it's too late to make those moves.
True. But here's the thing, though. I look at it this way. Let's look at what happened with the LA Kings. How many times did the LA Kings make the playoffs before they officially were the team that they
Before they
needed
won
to
the
be?
cup.
Before they won the cup. They made the playoffs like
Handful
3 or
of
4
times.
times.
Yeah.
And each time they were either a first-round exit or one time I think they snuck into the next round, but they just did not have enough to get out of the second round.
2007 they made to the Western Conference Final? No. It wasn't 2007 because that was
That
Detroit
was
and Anaheim.
at Anaheim because they got
2000 might have been 2009.
I
But they
think it
snuck into the
was
Western Conference
2009,
Finals
yeah.
with Arizona. And I think that led to their first cup.
Yeah, actually, no, it wasn't 2009. Because 2009 was the year that Pittsburgh beat Detroit.
Oh, yeah, because it was 2007 Anaheim.
2010 was Philly and Chicago. 2011, that was LA and Phoenix because they won the cup. Or no, not
It was
2011.
Vancouver.
2012 was the year.
Okay.
I apologize. 2012 was the year that
Boy.
happened.
You really lose track of time the older
You
you
do.
get.
You don't realize how many years have passed. And you want to know why it was 2012? Because I remember the team they beat, and it was the fucking Devils. And it was a pleasant fucking thing to see.
Yeah.
You weren't happy about it, but I sure as hell was to see them shit-sucking pieces of trash not get another fucking cup. Goddamn fraudulent pieces of garbage. that
No,
they
I only
are.
had to watch.
Sorry. Have I
LA
ever
win
mentioned that?
2.
You know what? I haven't done this in a while. Fuck you, New Jersey Devils. Anyway. All right. I felt good. Needed to do that. Anyway. Anytime you want to say fuck Los Angeles or fuck Las Vegas or fuck San Jose, you can do that, Brian. We offer that platform for you.
Oh, no, I know. I
Brodo
think it
can
once
say
in a
fuck
while.
the world right now because I think that's what he's feeling.
I think he
So,
wants to say
you
fuck the
know.
76ers.
I'll show you after the show.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Tom and I are like partying about the idea of getting Kawhi Leonard. Here, this is the past Brian the
Christ.
little GIF. Look at the bottom GIF.
Oh, my goodness.
No. At the top of the screen. Just show Brian.
Oh, my God.
That's how excited he is. That's how excited Tom is.
Oh,
All right, give it back to me. I want to continue playing the game.
You know what's funny? I totally see Tom doing that. Sitting up there, ooh, let's go.
oh my God. That's
Oh,
hilarious.
God.
I can't deal with this stuff
Oh,
anymore.
It's too late. It's just too late for me. going to drive home after this.
I was
Attempt.
doing that same thing on a comment with Doug Zeke and James Wilder earlier. We were just putting,
don't even tell me you got in on the gift game.
Mhm.
That's like every Wednesday with them.
They started it on one of my feeds, so I had to join in. I
Well,
felt it
once
was necessary.
Well, I know the feeling. Once they do that to you, I mean, you're stuck because you're going to get all the notifications either way because it's on one of your
right.
You know what
I
I mean?
might as well just join in on the fun.
You're in on it anyway.
I put
Well,
up some good ones.
As long as it's not the game from Waiting where you got to show everybody your penis and then kick somebody in the ass. But
All right,
anyway,
Maddie, we
Yeah, I think it's time for that
it's
now.
time to go. Yeah.
Yeah, on that note.
All right. So with that being
play the
said,
music real quick.
Yeah.
And here we go.
you got it. All right. Cool. So with that, it is time for us to say goodbye to another edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. It is time for last call. We will see what the Flyers do tomorrow as they have 2 first-round picks. Will they trade? Will they pick? We will find out tomorrow. But all this was brought to you by Skinzano's Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.skinzanosports.com. This has been the Hockey Happy Hour on a2dradio.com. I am Matt Tsudi. This is Brian the Darkwing Daily. Behind the board is Mr. I want to destroy the 76ers right now, Brodo.
Everybody gets a nickname.
Yep, everybody gets a nickname. Oprah moment right here on Hockey Happy Hour. We will see you all next Thursday right here on a2dradio.com.